Here is a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to do a forward inside Mohawk. Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to do a forward inside Mohawk, which is also known as a forward inside C-step. This is one of the more advanced beginner turns that you will learn as a figure skater. A forward inside C-step is a way that figure skaters can go from forwards to backwards quickly, changing feet and changing directions. Mohawks, also known as C-steps, can happen forward or backward, inside or outside, and can be done open or closed. Forward or backward indicates the direction that you will be starting your Mohawk. Inside or outside indicates the edge that you will be on. And open or closed indicates the position your feet will be in. The open or closed position does not matter too much for regular skating skills tests unless specified otherwise. This is mostly something to pay attention for if you will be doing ice dance. In today's video, I will only be going over how to do a forward inside Mohawk, and I will be referring to it as a C-step because I find that this helps beginners visualize the turn a lot easier than calling it a Mohawk. The first thing we're going to do is start working on this off ice so you can get used to the feeling and position of where your feet are going to be throughout the turn. When you are doing a forward inside C-step, you are going to be on an inside edge the entire time. You'll be in an inside edge to start with, and you will end on an inside edge as well. So to practice this off ice, you kind of want to be in a curved position like a small plie. You don't need any crazy hip turnout or hip flexibility to be able to complete this element on or off the ice. When we're off the ice, we want to practice that forward inside edge, which is going to be a 1 foot glide, and then you are going to take your free leg that is on the inside of our half circle for the turn. It's going to come through and make a T position. As your free leg comes through, you want to make sure that you are leading with the heel with your toe facing away from you. Once you have placed the free leg down on the ground, you are quickly going to switch off and shift your weight from the foot that is facing forward on the forward inside edge to the foot that is facing backwards that will now be on a backward inside edge. Essentially, the purpose of working on this off ice is to get used to the feeling, work on the quickness of switching the feet off, and making sure that you understand the weight transfer correctly before putting this onto the ice. Once you feel comfortable with that, it's time to bring it onto the ice, and we are going to start with very simple baby steps at the wall. We're going to practice exactly what we did off the ice on the ice while holding onto the boards. So you are going to practice that motion of stepping forward onto a 1 foot glide. Then you are really going to focus in on bringing that other foot to the inside of the circle, making that T position, leading with your heel, and switching off. Practice this both directions and make sure that you are maintaining an inside edge on both feet. When you are doing this at the wall, the most important things to work on are making sure that you master this trade-off, making sure that the heel comes through first, like I've previously mentioned, but also making sure that once this heel comes through to touch the other one that is already on the ice, you want to swiftly pick up the other one and slide it up into the air. Not too far up into the air, you just want to make sure that you can create a smooth transition of going forward to backward, and if you forget to lift the foot that was going forward, you are not going to be able to complete this turn, and you will struggle with that backward 1 foot glide. Once you feel comfortable with practicing it a few times at the wall before completely taking it out onto the ice, practice adding a long 1 foot glide into your C-step. This is going to help you get a good understanding of what the transition will feel like with speed, because that is necessary to complete your forward inside C-step. So take a small 1 foot glide, adding some speed into this. Make sure you're on an inside edge, and then when you turn to step down, follow all the steps that we've been working on and off the ice, and then make sure that you exit on that backward inside edge. Now that you feel comfortable with it on the wall, it is time to take it out onto the ice, and the first place I'd like to have all of my students start is on one of the hockey goals on either end of the rink. This is the perfect half circle to work on your 3 turns and your forward inside C-steps. Here at our half circle, you can either take a couple steps into our forward inside C-step so you can have a lot of speed going into it, or you can choose to do one nice strong push from a standstill. Now that we have taken this turn off of the wall, the important things to work on are maintaining speed and balance going into it and coming out of it, as well as making sure that we can make the turn as smooth as possible. So trying not to get stuck onto our toe pick and trying to make sure that we can complete the turn without stopping halfway through. For this, like I mentioned, you want to make sure you start on a forward inside edge, and you are going to hold it all the way till you get to the top of your half circle. Then when you get to the top of your half circle, just like we practice off the ice and at the wall, your free leg is going to come in and make the transfer going from forward to backward. And you want to practice making it as smooth as possible, so keeping that foot on the inside of the circle, having it come down in that T position where our heels are going to touch, and then before they touch, when they switch off, you are going to press down onto the ball of your foot on a backward inside edge and lift the foot that was going forward up into the air, so you are now facing the other direction on a backward inside edge 1 foot glide. If you are struggling with a smooth transition when you are stepping down on your free leg that comes in and is the one you are going to be going backwards on, one thing that a lot of skaters do not think about is the fact that to complete the turn when you go backwards, you need to step down onto the ball of your foot first, because there's a slight pivot, and then you are going to end on a backward inside edge. We're going to utilize our rocker, which is the ball of our foot on our blades. And so if you feel like you're getting stuck on a flat edge, or you just feel like the turn isn't happening, think about stepping down with this free leg onto the ball of your foot before you go onto a backward inside edge. Delaying the quickness of your weight transfer from going forwards to backwards is also another issue that a lot of skaters encounter. Sometimes they will just keep their weight in the center, where in reality, you want to make sure that you're leaning a little bit forward for the forward inside edge. And as soon as that other foot comes down, we're still keeping our weight while it's here. We're still keeping our weight on the foot that is going forwards, but as soon as we feel the heels touch, you are going to lean and transfer your weight to the backward foot. The very last thing I want to talk about in today's video is the posture for our forward inside C step. It's very similar to forward inside edges around the circle or anything like that you've previously worked on, even the same position for your forward inside 3 turns. Regardless of which direction you are going, if it's right or left, you will be hugging the inside of your circle. So making sure that your arms are hugging the circle and not facing the outside of the circle. A lot of our turns in figure skating happen below the waist. So our hips do a lot of the work. Sometimes our upper body is going to lean a little bit. So if you find it easier to lean a little bit more forward and to lean a little bit more backward for your inside C steps, go ahead and do that. But try not to throw your body weight too far to one side, because this can make it really hard to complete the turn properly. Another issue that a lot of skaters encounter is when they're doing the C step, they obviously are a little terrified of tripping over their blades. So what we naturally do is look down at our feet, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. You want to work on making sure that your head stays up, so you're not looking down directly at your feet below you. Looking directly down at your feet is going to pull your weight to the inside of the circle. And for your forward inside C step, you want your weight to stay on this red line here on our half circle. I'll insert a few clips here showing the turn slowed down from both directions. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.